Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Pooja Walia Maan from SGI Samalkha. Today we are going to talk on the module Service Product Strategies from the paper Services Marketing. After studying this module, you should be able to understand the meaning of product in services, service product blueprint, service product strategies, and value addition in service products. Let us first talk about a product. Basically, a product refers to the core benefit a consumer seeks to receive in a service purchase. While the services are intangible and they also lack ownership, the service product cannot be measured. This is what exactly complicates the strategies to be designed related to the service product. For instance, it is difficult to identify the actual product being delivered to the students in a school. Yet, it is evident that some schools are preferred by the parents and the children go to admission for such schools. Thus, in this section, we learn about the product aspect of service marketing despite the servicing being intangible and perishable. Now, let us think about a situation when some consumer is paying for a service. When a consumer pays, he is paying for a benefit or a satisfaction that he seeks from buying something. For example, when a consumer visits a restaurant, he is not simply looking forward to buying food. He also seeks other facilities like hygiene, interiors, interaction of the order takers, and the process of billing. Therefore, the term product is often used to describe the core benefit being marketed either through a manufactured product or a service. And in this section, we focus only on the services. Because of the inherent intangible and perishable nature of the services, it is complicated as to that really what a product component in the service is. For a better understanding of this concept, let us recall the various levels of product that we have done in our marketing management. That is, core benefit, basic product, expected product, augmented product, and the potential product. Due to inherent intangible and perishable nature of the services, it is complicated as to what really is a product concept in the services. For a better understanding of the concept, let us look at this figure which indicates various levels of product. Here, the first is the core benefit. Core benefit is the basic benefit which a consumer seeks to get while purchasing any service. The second is the basic product. Basic product is also the one that we call by name while buying something. Third level is the expected product level, which indicates the various features which a consumer expects while buying a service. The fourth level is the augmented product level, which is the value addition done by the service marketer. And the last level is the potential product level, something which is not existing today but can be intelligently incorporated in the marketing program tomorrow by any service provider. When a consumer pays, he is paying for a benefit or a satisfaction that he seeks from buying something. For example, when a consumer visits a restaurant, he is not simply looking forward just to buying the food. He also seeks other facilities like hygiene, interiors, interaction of the order takers, process of billing, etc. Therefore, the term product is often used to describe the core benefit being marketed either through a manufactured product or a service. Thus, product in the service is the core benefit which a service can deliver to the consumer. For example, if there is a consumer who is hiring a cab or a taxi, he is commuting. This commuting is the core benefit. It is difficult to measure the product component in a service and eventually even more difficult to design this product in the service. So, a service marketer generally develops a service blueprint. Through a blueprint, a marketer knows exactly how the product in the service is going to be delivered to the consumer. Unlike a purchase of the physical good, when the consumer can touch and see the product and only after being assured can pay, in the services, there is no one way to identify or deliver satisfaction to the target consumers. There are a range of interactions and experiences leading to the satisfaction or dissatisfaction of the consumer. The service blueprint lays down the flowchart of the various steps involved in generating and delivery of the service to the target consumer. Let us understand this concept with the help of the figure and taking an example of the tourism industry. Let's imagine that a consumer approaches a travel agent for buying a holiday package. Here, the travel agent has to identify as to what actually the consumer is paying for. And this happens at the front desk interaction. The consumer is explained of the various choices of destinations, that is, the various packages, including various costs and facilities being offered. The final choice is that of the consumer. The travel experience, including his welcome and the sightseeing of the local area and the journey backwards, includes the various steps in the service blueprint. The blueprint facilitates the service marketer to identify the amount of effort needed at various steps to delight the consumer and make them loyal to his services. However, there may be a difference of perception in the importance being attached to any given step of service delivery. To understand a common ground between the marketer's perception and the consumer's perception, we may analyze the service product at various levels of consumer expectations. Based on these needs, the service product strategies may be designed. Now, the first such point is the consumer sought benefit. This benefit refers to the basic need sought to be fulfilled by the consumer by consuming a service from the market. Identification of such a basic need facilitates in providing insight to the marketer to build the delivery of satisfaction for such needs very strongly. There are some hurdles in the understanding of this sought-after benefit of the target consumers. Like, firstly, the consumer may not be able to clearly identify the exact benefit expected in buying a service. For example, a consumer visiting a restaurant may not like the service of the order takers and hence may be dissatisfied. While the restaurant owner may assume that offering delicious food was the only way to satisfy a consumer, yet this was not the only purpose of a visiting consumer at a restaurant. Secondly, the customers may not be able to clearly express what exactly do they look for while buying a service. For example, assume a parent looking for a school for his kids. Here, the parents may not be able to point out exactly what they want the school to provide. Good education, good marks in the final exams, discipline, practical approach of teaching, emphasis on extracurricular activities, status, etc. This means that while a parent feels what he wants for his kids, he may not be really able to clearly put this into words as to what he desires. Thirdly, the consumers may expect multiple services instead of just one core benefit. Now, in the same example as just mentioned, a parent may express his desire for the school to provide all the above services to the students and not just choose one of the lot. Yet another difficulty in understanding the consumer's need is that it changes over a period of time. While a bad experience or an unsatisfied service encounter may result in moving a consumer from one service provider to another, this change could also be necessitated due to a value addition in the services provided by another service maker. For example, a subscriber of a telecom company may like to switch to another marketer due to bad service experience. Secondly, the reason of switching the service could also be that another service provider is giving more augmented services within the same price range. The second strategy could be service offer benefit. Having analyzed what exact benefit is the consumer looking towards while buying a service, it can be compared in light of the benefit being offered by a service. Basically, the service offer benefit requires the basic service being provided by the marketer. For example, an amusement park may offer the basic benefit of fun and recreation. However, there could be different modes of offering the same, like rides, water park, musical concert, theatre, fun games, just to name a few. At the bottom of a variety of services lie the question to be answered: what business are we in? This is the core benefit being sold by a service marketer, and this is the level which should match with the benefit sought by the consumer. Going ahead with the same example, we discuss another strategy, that is the service offer form. The marketer will have to make a decision as to how many different packages will be offered to the consumer, like offering only a common entry ticket to the park and charging all the remaining services separately, or charging for entry to the park and a standard set of rides at a certain price and maybe the concerts being charged separately, offering entry along with some rides and refreshment, offering entry ticket along with certain rides and concert, or maybe offering annual membership for entry and certain services. Hence, a creative set of offerings at wide price and service range may be packaged for the consumer to choose from, targeting a wider set of consumers. Thus, service form benefits refers to the various options related to service forms being offered to the consumer. The creativity of combining various elements of services decide the shape of the service form benefit being showcased to the target consumer. Let's move ahead, and this is the service delivery benefits. The elements of service offering a satisfaction to the consumer significantly depend upon two broad factors. Number one, the people, and number two, the physical evidence. For ensuring a good quality service delivery, the marketer has to ensure a trained staff and an attractive and navigable physical infrastructure is offered to a consumer. Let us understand how a service delivery system becomes important as a benefit being sought by the consumer. Have you ever come across a heavy rush on the ticket counter for a newly released movie of your favorite star? Or a huge crowd gathered to buy a ticket to the amusement park for the live performance of your favorite singer? What would be your reaction if the crowd present there is not standing in queues and just pushing around to reach to the counter? You surely will complain to the personnel or may even decide to dump the plan to buy the ticket. This is a typical example of a service delivery situation which is not managed well by the service provider personnel. The ability of the staff to manage crowd or the procedure of selling the tickets refers to the people component of the service. On the other hand, the ticket counter accessibility and the provision of line barricades outside the counter refers to the physical evidence of the services or the facilitating or supporting goods and services. Delivering consistent services may be complex in all situations and at all times, and is often a result of service personnel interaction, atmosphere of the service store, stress and anxiety while buying a service. There may be a different customer experience at different points of time, and it may vary from consumer to consumer. Due to intangibility aspect of services, the buying experience varies. Hence, a tangible aspect, quality infrastructure, may be consistently perceived positively by the target consumer. This way, the intangibles may be managed with the help of tangibles. We move ahead to one of the very important aspects of this subject: service value addition. Adding value means making the consumer purchase interaction pleasant, or we can also make it convenient, but remember, it should be done at a lower perceived price. It may not always mean changing the service or the core benefit being sold. Let us take an example of the internet grocery sellers. There are many new online grocery and vegetable stores who position their services on the pretext of saving the consumer of the effort and time of physically buying regular grocery items from the physical store, and by offering them the advantage of buying this facility which is available 24/7. There are several such examples like bigbasket.com, meragrocer.com, peppertap.com, to name a few. It is also not sufficient to offer a service and hope for a lifelong consumer satisfaction. Rather, it is important to continuously surprise the consumer with a new value addition and thus push the competitors also in a tizzy. However, while trying to add value to the service on a continuous basis, it is important to be focused on the core benefit being sought by the consumer. Let us look at this figure. It illustrates the steps to be undertaken by a service marketer planning to add value to the services. Here, the first is to decide on the organizational objectives. This means the service provider, first of all, must set the overall organizational objectives by understanding the core benefits being sought by the consumers. This can be done by analyzing the internal resources available to the organization and then deciding the actual business which the marketer wants to be in. Thus, by matching what the consumers want and whether the service provider is able to come up to those expectations. The second step is the environmental scanning step. This means to investigate what the other players in the industry are offering. This means the service marketer must analyze and understand what is the cost structure, target customer base, and the marketing mix strategies of the competitors. The third step The third step in making the value addition for the service products is the cost-benefit analysis. This means identifying a service not being served to the consumer currently by any of the players in the market. And secondly, in estimating what would be the projected cost and profit if such a service is being given to the target consumers. As discussed, it is important for a marketeer to understand the core service he offers and the support services being offered to the consumers. In the process of augmenting the services, the seller must make sure that the core service is not diluted at any step of service production and service delivery. There can be various methods by which the value can be added in the core service by a seller. The first such method of adding value is the information assistance. Value addition on the purchase of a service may be done by providing additional information related to the service. For example, a gynecology serves the patients for the diseases and for maternity support. However, she may offer additional information related to breastfeeding, vaccination charts, counseling to new parents, guiding the new parents about handling the infant during the various change of seasons, etc., and yet not charge anything extra. She may, however, offer a special training session for handling and bathing the babies at an extra charge. This is a way of adding value to the basic service of providing information assistance. The other method of adding value to a service is a quicker order processing scheme. Once the consumer decides to buy a service, he expects a fast order delivery also. In India, Amazon.in is offering an overnight product delivery, and it offers a value-added service over and above the competitors, for example, the Flipkart and Snapdeal, who are taking at least 2 days' time for the product delivery. Another way of adding value to a service is by providing security. Assume that you are spending a day out at a water park. Here, you are essentially required to keep away your valuables in one of the lockers. Now, if the personal belongings of the consumer are not safe, however much you have enjoyed in the time being spent in the water park, you may still be highly dissatisfied if one of your belongings goes missing. Hence, a good water park manager would ensure and offer safety and security of the consumers and their belongings while they are in the process of enjoying a service. We talk about another method of value addition in services, and that is refunds. This value-added service may be useful not only for an online marketeer, but also for a physical retail outlet. This refers to the provision of offering a refund or an exchange for a product bought through a service provider without much of a hassle. These days, one such example is an online furniture seller in India, pepperfry.com. The portal sells furniture, and it has positioned itself on the pretext of returning the piece of furniture if it is not liked by the consumer. This is the promotional message of pepperfry.com, which is offering a refund without asking for any excuses. The promotional message of the portal specifies that the consumer does not need to give any reason for return. He may simply return the furniture if he does not like it. We move ahead to another method of value addition, and that is hospitality. While we have discussed the aspect of personnel in service encounter as the most significant variable of service satisfaction, It can be used to add value to the services being offered also. Few years ago, Eureka Forbes vacuum cleaners were sold on the positioning of a friendly sales representative. These days, Bharti Exa markets its insurance policies on the positioning of a friendly and understandable insurance advisor. Thus, it may be clear that there are a number of variables which may be used to add value to a service offering and making a target consumer feel the differentiated service offer, with the core benefit being the focus of service packaging. So students, let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. A service marketer must understand the core service benefit being sought by the consumer while he makes any purchase. There may be a situation when a clear understanding of the core service may become very complex. It is essential to continuously add value to the basic service being sold to stay ahead of the competitors. This augmentation could be in the form of tangible aspects. Tangible aspects could be the physical evidence, that is the infrastructure, the freebies or any gifts which are being offered to the consumer, and intangible aspects like the personal attention which is given to a consumer, counseling and consultation which may be offered to a consumer, and of course, the hospitality of the service personals. Services are essentially intangible in nature and thus cannot be physically seen or touched. However, there is basic need sought to be satisfied by a service seller when it is offered to the consumer. Service product refers to the core benefit aimed to be satisfied by a service seller. There are 5 different levels of a product known as the product hierarchy, which includes the core benefit, the actual product, expected product, augmented product, and a potential product. Similar levels of service product exist with a core benefit being the basic. This is the basic reason for a purchase of a service. This aspect of the service should be essentially of a high quality so as to fulfill the needs of the consumers. Due to competition and the competitive offerings in the market, the consumer tends to start expecting some more features in this service and may himself not be very clear as to how to express the core need. Every marketer would like to offer something new and different to the consumer as against the competitors. An augmented product today may eventually become an expected product for a consumer due to the repeated support services offering for a core service in marketing. This value addition could be in the form of, let's say, order taking, order processing, order billing, or in the hospitality, counseling, or consultancy services being offered by the service personnel. Thank you.